How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What's going on, guys? Welcome into 14P Fantasy. I'm your host, Justin Wright. Today, we are talking potential dynasty bust candidates. And by that, I'm not saying these guys are going to flame out of the NFL in 1 year. You know, that's not what we're getting at. We're getting at guys in your startup drafts that are most likely, or I believe, going to drop in value come startup season, in 2023 at this time next year. Those are not guys I want to actively be adding onto my rosters that I personally believe are going to either stay stagnant or drop in value. Those are not the guys you're looking to add. They should never be the guys you're looking to add unless, you're a contender and going after an old vet. That's different. These are younger players that I think have hype, have some excitement, so their ADPs are elevated, and because of that, I think they're overvalued. And again, this is different from our overvalued, undervalued series. These are guys I think that I'm just not drafting. It's just probably not going to happen at their price. All right, before we get into that, guys, if you like what we're doing, if you like what me and Marco are putting down, check out Patreon, 14 personnel at Patreon. That makes more sense. Patreon.com/14P Fantasy. We got 3 tiers over there. $2 help support myself and Marco. $5 get our rankings. That will be rookie rankings, dynasty rankings. You'll get preseason draft rankings as well as in-season rankings when that time comes. So check out the Patreon. On top of that, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out. Obviously, you're doing that now. Subscribe, hit the bell if you like the videos you're seeing. All right, now let's get into it. Number one, and this is, people aren't going to like this, but whatever. Mac Jones. Mac Jones right now, 23 years old, coming off of a QB 18 season, depending on your scoring. And he's coming off the board as QB 17 in ADP. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, well, that doesn't seem too egregious, but if you're playing Superflex, which is, in Dynasty, it's probably the best way to do it, that means he is going ahead of T. Higgins, Dalvin Cook, Antonio Gibson. And I cannot justify taking a quarterback like Mac Jones ahead of dynamic playmakers. Yes, he was QB 18. However, he was QB 29 in points per game. What Mac Jones does on the field for the Patriots is 1,000 times more valuable than what he will provide to your fantasy team. That's just a matter of fact. And the whole argument is, well, it's his second season. You're going to have Mac Jones for 10 years. You know how many dynasty leagues last for 10 years? Basically none of them. It just doesn't happen. I mean, I'm in 3 right now that have gone on for 5 years, and that's a freaking miracle. On top of that, he's going ahead of Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Zach Wilson even. And here's the thing. You play Dynasty in 3-year windows. Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr are not retiring in the next 3 years, most likely. I want them over Mac Jones all day long. And then Zach Wilson, he just provides more upside. The Jets are always pretty damn terrible. So Zach Wilson has some, not a ton, but some rushing upside, very minimal. It's a little bit less than Aaron Rodgers typically does. But on top of that, they're a team that has always had to air the ball out. So I'm going to lean on Zach Wilson, a player that I think just has better arm talent than Mac Jones. Mac Jones is fine. However, I think come this time next year, when he puts up another, I believe, unbelievably mediocre season, Mac Jones is either going to stick at QB 17 or drop with that next batch of quarterbacks coming in. Don't just fall in love with the rookie quarterback who had a good, not great year, and it's just not going to work out for him in Dynasty, at least this season. Again, if he dips in value and you want to buy in 2023, go ahead, but this is not the time to do it. Next on our list, we have Terrace Marshall. Again, only 21 years old, coming off the board as wide receiver 59, and honestly, I don't care. Like, you see wide receiver 59, and it's, oh man, well, I may as well just take a chance on him. There's upside. Here's the thing. I'm going to break this down a little bit. We're going to get a little analytical here. 72 wide receivers since 2011 have been drafted in the first to third round and had under 500 yards in their rookie season. Terrace Marshall obviously falls into this group. When you look at them, Only 6 of the 72 have topped 750 yards that following season. And the reason I put it at 750 yards is, that puts him as pretty much, a top 40-ish wide receiver in terms of yardage on the season. And you want to see growth in a year 2 wide receiver. He puts up 500 yards in year 2. You're not happy. His value is dipping. So when we look at that, those 6 wide receivers, Van Jefferson, who we will talk about here, unfortunately, Kenny Golladay, DJ Chark, Randall Cobb, Corey Davis, Alshon Jeffrey. Aside from Alshon Jeffrey and Randall Cobb, this is not a group that has had sustained success. It just isn't. So what Terrace Marshall is doing really is kind of telling the world, if you're just playing the odds, over a 90% chance in the last decade for, again, a myriad of reasons, but over a 90% chance he doesn't have a great second season. Robbie Anderson's still there. DJ Moore is still there. They're making another quarterback change. CMC comes back. It just doesn't make a lot of sense where he's going to fit in terms of the offense, in terms of where he's going to get production. Terrace Marshall is a guy that I'm done. I was in last season. I liked the profile. It did not pan out. And you may think, 1 year, it's too early to cut bait. No, don't think so. I am trading him. I traded him away in several leagues for 3rd round picks. Couldn't get anything else, and that's fine. I think he's going to flame out real damn fast. He is 100% a do not draft for me. Different from Mac Jones or Van Jefferson or St. Brown, if you guys get the right value on him. But Terrace Marshall he's done. He is gone as far as I'm concerned. Next on the list, we just mentioned him, Van Jefferson. He is in that group that did not top 500 yards and then came back and went over 750. That's great. I think Van Jefferson is a nice NFL player. That's not ideal for fantasy. The growth of his role is severely handicapped. Here's the thing. Cooper Kupp is still there and is going to be the target hog in this offense. We know that. Robert Woods is signed for like 3 or 4 more years. He's not going anywhere. And they had made a move to get OBJ before Robert Woods went down, which means they were coming to replace Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson has a role out of necessity, not because of talent in my mind. Right now, he's coming off the board as wide receiver 45, so he's still going late. But I just think there are better bets out there than Van Jefferson. He's a guy, he reminds me a lot of an old Ram, if you remember, Chris Givens. Big play threat, good for 1 or 2 deep balls a game, maybe some intermediate work, not much. There's just not enough there for Van Jefferson to take that next step. This very well could be his best season, and he's tied to the Rams for 2 more years with basically nowhere to go. He doesn't really have upside. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. The player is nice, but the offense isn't going to be conducive for Van Jefferson. And honestly, I just don't see it getting better. So Van Jefferson, again, nice player, but over the next 2 years, where's the appeal? Where's the upside before free agency? And when he does, he'll be 27. It's just not worth it. He's already older for a guy going into his 3rd season. He's older. Let's be clear. He's a guy, if you can flip him for a 3rd, I'm going to do it. Sell somebody else on the upside. I don't want any part. Now, this last one, and I know people aren't going to like this one, and that's fine. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 22 years old. So my concern for St. Brown is it's twofold. I mean, one, it's threefold. Holy, okay, it's 3. One, all of his production came post-injuries, and that can be a cop-out because, he was a rookie and he grew into his role. That is absolutely true. However, it's a terrifying coincidence that it really came with Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift missing time. That's terrifying. When the majority of your production, 75, 80, I don't know what the exact number is, basically all of your production comes when the 2, leading target getters go out. That's not necessarily a red flag, but it's not a positive, in your favor. Number 2, the Lions are most likely taking a wide receiver. I don't think they'll do it to start the draft, but they got that late first. There's a good chance they are taking a wide receiver with that pick, which just gives him more competition that I don't think he's really suited to handle. Obviously, DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, they are going to get theirs. We saw that. Amon-Ra St. Brown could be coming in as the option 3, the 2B, option 4. I don't think there's anywhere else he's the number 1 option again. It just doesn't make a lot of sense given his role in the offense and his skill set. So that's not ideal, again, when you're drafting a guy and I didn't even get to his ADP. He's going as wide receiver 25. He is a borderline wide receiver 2, and I get he's young and he had this great year. Fantastic. I don't see it getting a whole lot better outside of hype. As soon as they draft a rookie, the ADP is going to drop because for whatever reason, people aren't pricing that in right now. It's just not happening, and it should be. And the last piece, if you just watched our last video talking about why you should be avoiding wide receivers in the NFL that are getting drafted in the 4th round or later, again, St. Brown, a 4th round pick, I'm going to kind of recap those numbers for you. Since 2011, 187 wide receivers have been drafted between rounds 4 to 7. 3 players in that group have more than one season over 200 plus points. Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones has 2 only. Amon-Ra St. Brown right now is one of 7 in that group, including the previous 3, that has topped 200 points in their career in a single season. Darnell Mooney, Hunter Renfrow, and one more that escapes me are on that list. No, none of them repeated. Again, only Hill, only Diggs, and only Marvin Jones. The likelihood that Amon-Ra St. Brown repeats this 200-point performance is slim to none. And if you're scoring 200 points, you're basically a top 28 wide receiver, top 30. So just playing the odds, again, it's like a 3%. 3% of all players do it once. Even fewer do it twice. So that is a major concern. And Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs are completely different types of receivers than Amon-Ra St. Brown is. He's much more of the Hunter Renfrow, who also broke out this season based on injury. And even if you just look at the total number of seasons, 534 seasons from all 187 of those players, 15 total seasons, they have finished with 200 plus points. 9 of those are from 2 guys. 11 are from 3. So just you're playing the odds when you're saying, I'm going to fade Amon-Ra St. Brown. Do I think he is a good player? Yes. Do I think he's going to be this fantasy superstar that we saw in the second half of the year? Absolutely not. Now, if you have him on your roster, I'm trading him. I mean, objectively again, but right now he's basically worth a first-round pick, depending on your scoring system. So an early second, a late first, I'm going to flip St. Brown for that and just take a guy that has a statistically better chance of breaking out. I just am not I'm going to play the odds. That's typically what I'll do. I'm a numbers guy. You guys didn't know that from watching. He is a concern for me as far as the numbers go. All right, guys, those are 4 bust candidates. Again, obviously not a guarantee, not a profit here, but those are guys I'm just not looking to draft right now in startups at their ADP. I need a significant discount to take a chance on them. Again, check out the Patreon page, guys. 3 tiers, $2, $5, $9. You get rankings. You get us to break down one of your dynasty teams with that top tier. You get early access to rookie videos over the next couple of months. Again, if you like the videos, check that out. Also, subscribe to the YouTube, like the video. Follow us on Twitter if you just want more of this, more of these kind of bad jokes, whatever you guys need. All right. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.